So this evening, I just want to describe something that I experience like 3, 4 times every summer trip, and that's where the evening can be going kind of slow, and then all of a sudden it'll go kind of crazy for a half hour, 40 minutes, and then just shut right back off. So now moved to the area I am concentrating on largemouth. You notice I switched to a 1/4 ounce spinnerbait to cover a lot more air a lot quicker. What's different this year, you see the row of weeds in front of me. Usually all that stuff in front of me is packed to the surface. Okay, this year the weeds way down. I'm probably sitting in 6 to 8 feet of water with the weeds only coming up 3 feet. I started throwing a 8 to 12 foot diving crankbait. I actually got one. The cameras weren't going, so I missed that guy. Tried that again for another half hour and got nothing. And I was getting close to throwing in the towel. And then all of a sudden, with this 1/4 ounce spinnerbait, I bagged the first fish. There it is. There's the first one. And it went crazy, well, relatively crazy for about a half hour. What's going on is the fish are actually behind my back about an hour ago, just hanging out over open water. And when they decide it's time to chow, when I say they, it's a loose school. It's probably somewhere between 5 and 10, 12 bass that start to push bait fish, in this case most likely young perch, in towards the weeds to kind of pin them against that so their hunting is a little bit easier. And that's what's going on here.
That's a fish. Oh, stop jumping, man. Stay on there, please. He's breaking weeds off, I think. Come on, dude. Come on up. Come on. I can't see him. This is certainly a better fish. Oh, yeah. This is over 4. This may be over 5, and if he ain't, he's really close to it.
Well, no, he wasn't. He's too thin for that. So what I've noticed is if I catch largemouth, this is in a natural lake, in an area where there's not very many weeds, the fish always tend to be thinner. Why is that? It just doesn't hold as much food. So the bass got to spend more of their time out over open water chasing the food. 5 miles south of this area where the weeds are thick, so the bass will be thicker. This is natural lakes, okay? That's not always true for smallmouth. Smallmouth oftentimes are out over open water chasing tight schools of smaller minnows. But the largemouth, if there's less weeds, the weight per unit length tends to be less.
That's a fish. Pike. No way, ladies and gentlemen. A black crappie on a full-size spinnerbait. Now, didn't that make my day? Incredible.
Yeah, it was really cool, wasn't it? I've also noticed on this particular lake, for me, it seemed every time I have this, increased action like this, it tends to be in the same window. It's usually somewhere between 5 to 6. And that's been very consistent over the last 10 years. Somewhere between 5. Earlier than that, nope. Later than that, I really don't do nearly as well. It's always in that window. So, work really hard to make sure you're in that window. Look, I got another one. See, it really, really turned on for a while.
Oh, I don't have my much. Got him. A little bit heavier. He's 3. 542.
So now you can see what's going on here. What happened? What changed? So this loose school of fish has moved in here, and I was fortunate enough to be in the right place. This happens to me 2 or 3 times every summer trip. Okay? So you're like, well, why doesn't it always happen? Because first of all, you're like, well, the weeds look thick enough in there. but I'm already in like 3 feet of water. Okay, I've already come in far enough. I generally don't fish in water this shallow. It's okay, so it's a little bit too shallow to hold too many bass, right? So the bass actually are not resident here. But what I mean is they don't stay there the whole day. Okay, they come in their feed and then they go right back out. So this is what happens to me. I'll have like a very slow evening, and then it'll go crazy for half hour, 40 minutes, and then it'll shut right back off. And it's not necessarily because now the fish are full and they're not eating anymore. It means what they were chasing against the weed edge there have now moved back out over open water because they know they're in serious trouble, right? And then the fish have to decide, okay, how many calories do I want to burn versus what the reward is, right? That's always the case. Like for you and me, it's like, well, if I'm eating a 500 calorie lunch, but it costs me 700 calories to get that lunch, it's not helping me. I'm going to lose weight. Okay, forget about those of us that want to lose weight. Fish never want to lose weight, so why burn too many calories versus what it takes to get those calories? Okay, that sounds kind of weird way to look at it, but that actually makes a lot of sense for a fish. Okay, so it still keeps going here before it shuts off, and then the last hour, I didn't get anything.
That's a fish. Now, please don't be a pickerel. It's a pretty good one if it is. Come on up. It might be another pickerel. And then we're going to have to change tactics here. No, it looks like a bass. And ladies and gentlemen, the lure just came out. He's close to 3. 2 3/4. Ladies and gentlemen, it is getting very exciting, is it not?
Here I got the last one on, and he really wasn't anything special, but that was a handful of bass with a crappie and actually a pickerel that I cut out thrown in there. So he hasn't anything special, but boy, that's a lot of fun. You just wish you could stay on them longer, but that's the way it is some nights.
Really hot around 5, 6 o'clock, and then get you all excited to think that's going to keep going.